Okay, so today we're going to be looking at this statement, which is the best way to train the foot arch is to train it proportionally to its current level of strength. So one of the questions I get asked quite a lot when people ask about being flat-footed is, how do I train the foot arch? And I'd just say very, very simply is the simpler the better. You've just got to use common sense, because there is not really any way you can directly train these muscles, and there's no machines or anything that can do that. The best way to do it is to load them, get them moving as freely as possible, but just to cue the right cues, which is, grab the floor, keep the toe down, create the arch. And I like to cue pretend you're a bat. So when I'm deadlifting, I'm thinking that I'm actually on the ceiling and I'm a bat and I'm trying to cling onto the ceiling with my feet, like I'm trying to grab onto the floor. Now, as weird as that sounds, being a bat whilst you're deadlifting, it does work pretty well in terms of creating that arch. But in saying that, this is a really, really important thing to consider, proportionally to its current level of strength. If you have really, really flat feet and wear insoles and have a very hard shoe which is keeping you in position, if you then decide to go barefoot, you're probably going to injure yourself if you go as heavy as you used to doing. You have to regress quite a lot in order to get the most out of this and basically start afresh. So that's something to bear in mind. It must be proportional to your current level of strength. It will not work where you get rid of your shoes, you train barefoot, and then suddenly you hit a 20 kilo PB. It's the opposite. Getting rid of orthotics and training barefoot will actually make you weaker. You have to start again and build with the right foundations. So I'm going to quickly explain this on the whiteboard, give you an idea of what I mean by this, and then we'll go over to some exercises for you to try, which is so simple but goes a long way to improving feet stability and mobility. Okay, so when you're training barefoot, what should you be thinking? So let's go with thoughts. First things first, before we can, the body has certain ways in which it can perform, and if mobility is a factor, then this is probably something that we're going to address first. So let's look at mobility. So mobilization drills can just be as simple as soft tissue. So if the calves or feet or whatever feel adhesed and feel like crap, do something in terms of mobility which is going to change the tissue. So that can be foam rolling, lacrosse ball, whatever you like. So do something with mobility. Once we have mobility, we've freed up the ability to recruit muscle tissue. So therefore, doing things optimally with more mobility is our chance to create stability. That sounds quite nice, so we'll go with that. So basically, what we want to do here now is think of 3 points of contact, but think heel, down, scrunch up the foot, big toe down, and then big toe, and then a big one, which I like, is grab, and then it's grab with the little toe. Now, I personally, and I'm not going to go out and say this absolutely because some people will be like, that's horse shit, but I personally think grabbing with the little toe helps recruit the lateral hamstring, so bicep femoris. Couldn't tell you why, don't know EMG behind it. I just think as a cue, it helps. Fascial lines could tell you why, I could tell you why, but I'm not going to go out on a whim and say this is an absolute, but those are my things. So heel down, big toe down, grab with the little toe, scrunch the foot. Those are 3, which is obviously, as I've realised and counted, 4 points that you should be sticking to. So mobilize, lacrosse ball, 3 points of contact. And then all it becomes is you've got to match the exercise. The exercise has to match the level of strength. How do you test level of strength? Well, honestly, if you're with a client or doing it on yourself, just get them to stand on one foot, creating the foot arch for as long as they can. And if they can do it on one side for 10 seconds and then another side for 30, there's a big imbalance. If they can do it for one side where they can't do it at all, there's an imbalance. If both sides are equal, then, and this is the advanced one, get them to close their eyes and stand on one foot with just creating that arch and watch what happens. And our proprioception generally is wank, which is the technical term for it. So that's something you have to look at, is how well people can stabilize with no load. And that's what I mean. If you think that if you can't stand on one foot and to stabilize yourself for 10 to 20 seconds, you have no right to be deadlifting double your body weight in bare feet, because you got to think about that stability that you don't have is then going to be compensated somewhere, whether it's in the knees or the hips. So think about that. So what do? You find a level of strength. If you can balance on one foot and you're really stable, just do stuff and balance it on one feet. Sometimes doing the things correctly has a big response. So if just as a drill, you just want to stand on one foot and just think 3D mobilization. So you want to be able to stabilize yourself in every plane and every region the joint can go in. And I'll show you what this looks like in a video. So this basically would be a sequencing, and my videos throughout December are going to be how to basically prime and train the feet so they have a great carry-on effect to the rest of the body. So first one we're going to go for is standing position, just getting people to get strong on the feet. 3D mobilization drill, just going in different planes, forward, back and side, eversion, inversion, all the basic movements. And if you get pretty competent at this, you can then do it for more reps, more time, more range of motion. You can increase as much as you like in terms of the range of motion. What I mean by that is maybe going lower into the movement, spending a little bit of time in more flexed or lower position. You can do what you like, but this should be the foundation of foot strength, this following drill, and then you can build upon it, and then you're ready to start doing squats, deadlifts and whatever you like with bare feet. Here you can see me standing on one foot in my funky Vibrams. Before I do anything, what can you see? Heel, arch, toe, grab, which you can't really see there. I'm just grabbing the floor with my left foot. Now what I'm doing here is going into purposeful pronation, purposeful supination. So eversion, inversion. So that one there, if I start it again, it's taking my full body weight through this ankle joint and giving it the ability to stabilize in different ranges. Now, why is this important? Because you think, well, if I'm just doing sagittal plane squats and deadlifts, all I need to be bothered about is dorsiflexion in this range. But if you're an athlete and you want your tendons and ligaments to be strong, then you need to be able to do this, because if you go over on an ankle or twist it in any direction, these ligaments and tendons need to be strong, and your feet need to be strong enough to support that, to support this motion. So again, very simple, standing on one foot and just twisting my body around, not touching with the other foot, and you'll be surprised how hard this is. And just think, you're kind of screwing your foot into the floor, rotating round like so, and you get a great little pump in the ankle tendons. Then I go into just a little bit of dorsiflexion, which is really bad on me. Now I notice on this one, the bones around my feet, I think the talonavicular joint gets a little bit stuck. And so this is actually a really good one for mobilization. But if you find it gets stuck, maybe do a little bit of work on the tibialis with a foam roller, a little bit of the balls of the feet, maybe a little bit of calf. Just go around the areas that feel tight with the foam roller and see if that helps. Just a little bit of self-care with the feet and the ankle joint, or you can get a band in there and try and pull just a little bit of mobilization. So when I say advance, is that if this becomes really easy, what you can do in this little squatting motion, so the single leg pistol squats, is actually go down a little bit further, so increase the dorsiflexion so you get more of a stretch in the Achilles. And your goal should be to get pretty low in that, so you're going into a kind of a body weight split stance Bulgarian. And then going on to the final one of the sequence, and I love this one for getting the glutes to quote unquote fire, is a single leg deadlift. So just going into one side, look, the whole time there's an arch in the foot. I'm going forward, and it's great because if you can stabilize through the core, you're actually using the glute on each side. So this is a great way of quote unquote waking up the glute. So if you go like so, there and pull back, there and pull back. And you might start with 3 of each sequence, then you can go to 5, then you can go to 10, 1 on each side, just rotating through like so. Again, I'll just show you that one. So this is going into the final one of the single leg. And then you go back into the rotations, like you saw at the beginning, pronate. And then what you can do is, I've actually changed it here, is now you've gone from the pronation to supination, you can actually go into training the arch itself. So keeping the arch now and stabilizing through the foot. So twisting, and now I'm properly grabbing with the floor. And honestly, doing this maybe for 3 sets continuously, 3 to 5 reps on the complex each one, you'd be amazed at how much your feet respond to this quickly. You can do this every day, you don't need any equipment, you can do it at home, do it in the evening, whenever. This as like a flow movement on a regular basis is so good for the feet. Do it bare feet, no shoes or socks. Vibrams you can do if you have some. But honestly, really brilliant movement, and it's proportional to level your strength. You don't need to do any other fancy stuff. You don't need to load the barbell. You don't need to do anything until you're competent with this, and it'll have such a great impact on dorsiflexion, mobility of the ankle, knee strength and stability, and hips as well, if you do it every day and diligent with it. So like I say, simple movements go a long way.